Hello, everybody. It's my great pleasure to welcome Scott Wooldridge, President, Asia Pacific at Rockwell Automation, to this ARC Executive Interviews podcast. So, hello, Scott.
Hey Bob, how are you?
Okay, I'm doing fine. It's great to be speaking to you today.
Thank you for the
And
opportunity.
sure. Thank you very much. And yeah, we're going to go through a few discussion points and questions to you today. And I think let's get started. Um, so looking overall at the current portfolio of products and services, which I know is pretty extensive at Rockwell Automation, how well positioned is the company to bring benefits to your customers and to solve some of their key challenges that they're facing in the current rather uncertain business environment?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, and I think we are certainly in an environment with more uncertainty, but it's been a trend that has probably been accelerating the last 5 to 6 years since we've had the COVID pandemic, and then there was excess capacity built in supply chain. There was a wave of resiliency investments to make sure that manufacturing was more secure and companies weren't single point at risk within their supply chain. And I think we've now reached a point where in many industries there is oversupply, but there's still drivers to have more localized production to protect yourself from tariffs or political resiliency efforts around the globe. So people are trying to then optimize their production, which has been an
Mm,
historical trend. How do you manufacture it as cost effectively as possibly, but also as agilely as possibly? And that means you want to be able to pivot your production to trends in the marketplace, either new product design or increasing or decreasing volume quickly, depending on consumer preferences, without really impacting your cost base or your quality. And I think Rockwell positions ourselves as a smart manufacturing leader and brings solutions to our customers around driving productivity and driving sustainability. So while we have a lot of products, more than 70,000 individual products, we supply those as an integrated solution, configured with a single software environment, deployed on a single Ethernet networking um, infrastructure to make it easy to maintain and easy to deploy. And then the systems are more adaptable and more agile as demand increases and decreases. We also back it up with a large engineering, and we've invested in consultancy capabilities because we
mm,
understand that we need to back our customers up, whether they're end users or integrators or OEMs, with knowledge of their industry and knowledge of our technology. And so we do that with a large group of domain experts, more than 6,000 that we have deployed globally, that come out of industry, know the industries we serve, and can position our technology and our solutions with that industry lens on it. Because our platforms can be deployed anywhere in any manufacturing environment, but
mm,
each environment has its own nuances, has its own drivers around what the business outcome that's required
mm,
today is. So you need to really be able to know what of those 70,000 products is relevant and best suited to solve your current business need, whether it's a
mm,
quality problem or an energy use problem
mm,
or a throughput problem. There's a different solution and a different approach that can be optimized to give you the best outcome.
mm, mm. Okay. Thanks, Scott. So I guess related to that, your region, Asia Pacific, I know is a very wide operating
Yes.
operating region. Many different countries, different GDPs, different levels of development, different needs. I would say, but perhaps could you give us a flavor of some of the country and industry dynamics that you're seeing that are relevant to Rockwell's business in terms of um, opportunities, in terms of growth opportunities?
I think when we look at our business, we look more at an industry lens and a country lens. So there's certain
Right.
industries that we feel we have a really integrated solution set, from a manufacturing execution system right down to a sensor. And some they become our priority. So they're not really country centric, but we really look in Asia Pacific at a few key drivers from an industry perspective. Automotive and tire is very strong for us. Semiconductor is strong, and that's an area that went through a boom through COVID, where everyone was migrating
Yeah.
to home offices, investing in home technology, slowed down again. But then with the latest boom in people gravitating to AI-based solutions, that's really accelerated the chip sector again, and that's a strength of Asia Pacific. And then we work in life sciences and food and beverage. We work
Mm.
across more than 40 industries, but if I had to say they're the 4 or 5 that are core to our business and our top priorities in Asia Pacific, they're not constrained. Taiwan is clearly a hub for semiconductor,
Right.
but automotive is spread throughout the region, life sciences in food and beverages. So we see growth opportunities still in all sub-regions across Asia Pacific. We
Okay.
are, however, seeing faster acceleration in Southeast Asia and India. I think
Mm.
that's driven through resiliency, where people are looking at having a secondary manufacturing location, and
Mm.
also the local domestic markets. India has a huge population. If you look at Vietnam and Indonesia and Southeast Asia, large growing populations. So it's taking advantage of the skill sets in those countries, but also taking advantage of the growing domestic markets that are evolving in those markets as well, and putting
Mm.
manufacturing close to where the customers are. So
Mm.
um, that's a trend over the last 4 to 5 years, a significant acceleration, particularly in those 3 countries in terms of their manufacturing sector. And we've had historical positions in those countries for more than 40 years. So we're getting some benefit now of the investments that we've put in our own
Mm.
infrastructure. And in the case of India, we've accelerated our own manufacturing infrastructure as well to be close to that, the customers we service and the future consumers that are in those markets.
Mm. Mm. Okay. You touched on this uh, very briefly just now, but AI, and probably don't need me to tell you that it's been a big buzzword of the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But perhaps going beyond inevitable hype, what does it actually mean to Rockwell in terms of, and perhaps also your customers as well, in terms of new product developments and offerings that you can bring to the market?
Yeah, I think AI is more than a buzzword, because we're already seeing applications deployed that are leveraging AI heavily in our current portfolio, and it's heavily also influencing our future product development. I would say AI in a combination with cloud-based infrastructure for manufacturing, which is a newer trend.
Yeah.
So we see AI being embedded in all layers of our product hierarchy and becoming intuitive and simple to deploy. And what I
Mm.
mean by that is, if you have a solution or a problem you're trying to solve, we believe the best way to solve it is have AI intuitively embedded in that hardware or software application close to that issue. An
Okay.
example would be, we've just launched a solution called Vision AI, and that's online vision detection of anomalies in a production environment. It could be bent cans, it could be mislabeled cans, it could be items that are incorrectly positioned in an assembly jig. And that's real
Mm.
time feeding into the control system, with the control system automatically adjusting the operating parameters to try and overcome that quality issue. The difference between doing it inline in real time versus at the end of the batch or at the end of a line with an historical quality check, where you've wasted that production time, and also not having to shut down the machine, where the control
Mm.
system is intuitively linked to the AI model that is trying to adapt its operating parameters in real time without an
Mm.
operator having to reconfigure the machine or an engineer modify the code. So a real
Mm,
closed loop AI solution that is low touch. It's been developed and deployed in
mm,
the core PLC engines without needing a room full of data scientists to maintain it. So
mm,
solutions close to the application, it might be online for real-time quality control. It might be in the cloud for more preventative maintenance type activities where you're gathering historical data on the runtime and the energy use and the quality parameters of your overall production line. And you can see slow drifts over time, which means you need to do some preventative maintenance on your equipment. Those type of AI models might be best suited in the cloud, where you've got a cloud-based
mm.
application. It's not real time, but you're looking at large amounts of historical data and you're
Right.
looking at small changes over time. So again, building a model that really solved that particular
Mm,
problem and embedded in the right piece of software. And in that case, we would do that in a cloud-based application. We have a product called Fix that is around preventative maintenance, and we
yeah.
embedded the AI engine in that product. So we
Mm,
think any product you buy in the future that's intelligent is going to have an AI engine in it, and it will be designed to work with very limited user input to solve problems directly out of the box. So you can get the
mm,
benefit of that AI capability quite like you having a smartphone and having, I talk to people about how much better my photos are now than what they were 5 years ago. And it's
right.
not the photographer's got any better. It's that
Yeah.
there's an AI engine right embedded in the phone that is optimizing the lens and the light and the focus. And it's
Mm,
improving my capability. But I'm not programming that AI engine. It's just intuitively been embedded in that device. So we think
mm,
AI at all levels, embedded in the devices close to the use case it's being solved, will be a key
mm.
driver for the future.
Okay. So it sounds like artificial intelligence is something very significant for Rockwell's business and Rockwell's future, from what you're
I think
saying.
anyone in manufacturing or
Yeah.
in any industry is going to
Yeah.
be exposed and need to adopt AI. And I actually see manufacturing moving faster than some historical industries that might have adopted technology at a faster pace, like
Mm,
the banking or finance sectors, because they
right.
have other regulations that manufacturing doesn't always have. So they have some challenges to put new technology and deploy new technology, whereas some layers of manufacturing can actually deploy faster and easier and test that technology in real time. So I think it's one
Mm,
of these opportunities where manufacturing, which has historically lagged in new technology deployment, can actually take a leadership position.
mm, mm. Okay. Okay. I saw this year at Hanover that Rockwell announced a partnership with Amazon Web Services, AWS, to, and I quote, accelerate the digital transformation of the manufacturing industry. I know Rockwell's had a relationship, a collaboration with Microsoft for quite a number of years as well. So my question is, what value and advantages do these collaborations with these essentially software and cloud companies bring to Rockwell Automation?
So I think we're seeing there's a natural gravitation of some traditional applications that would have been deployed on site.
Mm,
And that could be visualization through HMI products, could be MES products doing uh, quality control or providing traceability or providing workflow. It could be preventative
mm,
maintenance applications. And even our core programming software, we've now cloud enabled Design Studio. So we can do automatic updates of the software. We can have global design teams collaborating on a single platform in real time using the same design standards and PLC code standards when they're deploying a new plant. But everyone's working together in real time across multiple OEMs and sites. All those examples there need cloud infrastructure. And cloud infrastructure means you don't need to stand up your own servers on your own site and have that cost of
mm,
infrastructure. It means that you can deploy faster if you're doing a multiple site deployment. You don't need to stand up single instances and maintain them across multiple sites. So we're
mm,
seeing cloud-based applications that are a little bit removed from the real-time control, but absolutely
Mm.
manufacturing applications accelerating in their adoption of being deployed to the cloud. So we have partnerships with Microsoft and AWS because they're two of the largest cloud-based
Yeah.
providers. And if you look at our customer base, they tend to be shared between those two global vendors, particularly the MNCs. So we're making sure our core
Mm.
applications are supported well on both Microsoft platforms
Right.
and AWS platforms. So our customers have the choice to use their existing cloud arrangements, cloud providers, and cloud infrastructure that they've approved and certified and made sure are cyber secure to work for in their environments.
Mm. Mm. Okay, thanks, Scott. So coming down from the cloud back down to the plant floor, I would say that Rockwell, you were not really very well known previously for robotics, but that seems to be changing, I would say, over the last few years, the last couple of years, with some recent acquisitions and some announcements of partnerships. What are your thoughts about this technology market for Asia Pacific?
Yeah, so I think it doesn't matter where I go in Asia, robotics are being deployed at an ever increasing rate. And
Yeah.
it's a global scenario as well. So
Mm.
there's a couple of different areas we've focused on. The first, we have this model of wanting a single software environment to configure and maintain all systems on your plant floor, whether it's your control system or your safety system or your motion system. So we extended the capability of our core engineering tools, Studio 5000, to allow it also to code uh, third-party robotic systems. So if you have a third-party robotic system, you can use the core configuration tools that Rockwell offer to code and maintain those third-party inline robotics. So that was one area we invested in. The second is we acquired a company called ClearPath, or Otto Motors was the subsidiary that does AMR devices. And we
Yeah.
could clearly see that deploying AMRs into existing manufacturing facilities in particular was going to be the next big trend, where you want to connect the warehouse to the fixed production line and inline robotics agilely and have all that materials movement managed by AMR devices. But it
Mm.
needs to be done safely, it needs to be done around humans, it needs to be self-routing. If you drop a box in the way of the AMR device, you don't want it to sit there until somebody moves the box. You want it to
Mm. Yeah.
intuitively be able to work around a complex
Mm.
manufacturing floor. So we felt that actually being a leading player in fixed line controls, that if we use the same programming engine and same safety devices and same scheduling and planning devices at an MES level that we use in the fixed plant, that would make the mobile plant systems better integrated to the fixed plant, easier to deploy and easier to maintain. And that's what we want people to be doing, having systems that are easy to maintain, and then they can spend their time optimizing the system versus just trying to keep it running without breaking.
Mm.
So we could see that was the next major trend. Inline robotics was fairly mature. The connection
Right.
between the warehousing and machine to machine and with mobile equipment was the emerging trend. And we felt for it to be successful, there was a way we could accelerate that as Rockwell by integrating these systems really seamlessly from a safety and controls and
Mm.
scheduling, making them more optimized. So we invested in AMR devices with Otto, which is really accelerating for us globally.
Right. Right. Okay. Thanks, Scott. So perhaps finally, perhaps you can tell us about some of the events and some of the initiatives that customers and maybe potential customers can look forward to from Rockwell Automation here in Asia Pacific. I know you were here, or the company was here last in Southeast Asia last week for the Rock Live Vietnam event, and you have some more coming up, I believe,
Yeah,
during
so
the rest of the year.
Rockwell has a great education opportunity for our customers, not just in our technology, but in industry trends. We have industry leading speakers at those events. So we have mid-July, we have a Rock Live event planned for Tokyo. And we also have one straight after that in Australia on the Gold Coast. So they're the
Right.
two major events we have coming up in the short term. We do a global major event as well, which is in Chicago this year in November, called Automation Fair, and we
Yeah.
have a large contingent of Asia Pacific customers normally attend that, which showcases
Mm.
our abilities, but also our large partner networks around integrated architectures and deployment. So they're the three major events we have coming up in the next few months that we're planning towards and looking forward to.
Right. Okay. Great. Well, it's been a very, very enlightening discussion with you, Scott, here today. We've covered countries, industries, artificial intelligence, cloud, robotics.
Yes.
And I think that we could probably talk about a lot more things as well, given the size and scope of Rockwell's business in Asia Pacific. But I think that's a very good primer of where you are right now. So I want to thank you especially for your time today, given to ARC. And we do wish you all success, and look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Thank you, Bob. We really appreciate the opportunity. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Scott. Thank you very much.